Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to Wait Automation. Let's wait for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll be going to start the session in the next 10 minutes by 9 or 9:05. I hope I am audible to everybody. By default, all of you are in mute mode. You can just give me a thumbs up on the chat bot just to confirm that I'm audible to everybody. So, am I audible to everyone? Just a quick check. Okay, great. So as of now, I'm muting myself. Let's wait for the next two minutes, and we're going to start the session very soon. Okay, so Anudeep, am I audible now? I guess we should start the session. First of all, welcome everyone. Let's see who all have joined us. As an attendee list, we have Ashwin, we have Deep, okay, we have Manoj, Mohit, Niharika, Nitesh, Porush, we have Praful. Great. Just a second, guys. So yeah, guys, just next 5 minutes, because since I got a phone call, so some of them are joining us in the next 5 to 4 minutes. Let's wait till that point of time. Can I get some introduction from some of you? If you guys can introduce yourself for the next 5 to 10 minutes. By the way, myself Ashish. I'll introduce myself once again when everyone will be joining us. Till that point of time, if someone is interested in introducing themselves, I am audible to you all, right? Just a quick check, guys. I am audible, right? Am I audible? Yeah, great. Okay. So Yeah, guys, anyone want to introduce themselves? Ratan Kumar, Jayant Bhasan. Um, by default, you guys are everybody's on mute, so you can unmute yourself in case if you want to say something. By default, go to webinar keeps everyone on mute so that there would no disturbance. So in case anyone wants to say something, you guys can just unmute yourself and say a word. You can raise your questions, your queries, doing the same process. Okay. So, okay, please share your screen. Okay, I'm not able to mute. I'm Ashwin from Chennai. So yeah, is my screen available, visible to everyone? I believe yes. Okay, great. Mm, so we have as of 21 attendees with us. Okay, no one can see you. Yeah. So guys, let's start with the session. I guess it's already 9 o'clock. The rest of us will be joining soon. And in case anyone wants to say something, just raise a question here in the chat box icon, and I'll be responding to the same as soon as possible. Okay. So without wasting our time, let's start with the introduction today. So guys, my name is Ashish, and I have in all 6 to 7 years of experience, or you can say more, in a CMM 5 level organization. I'm working as of now, and also I am working with Selenium Python from last few years. I'm working in API testing regularly, and yeah, I work in performance testing as well. So yeah, that is a small domain, knowledgeable domain from my side. Okay, I'll be your professor for the next few days till the session is going to end. The duration and all these things, we'll come to that later. Okay, great. So guys, before starting, can anyone tell me the course name that you have joined for? Can anyone tell me the course name you have joined for? For which course are you enrolling? Or what exactly do you want to study? I want to get some feedbacks from you guys, some input from you guys that what exactly you guys think, for you guys have expectations for this course. So Ashwin, you say you are hoping for Python with API testing. Okay, correct. Anyone else want to share some inputs? Testing of API with Python, one of the same thing again, right? Correct. Yeah. So everyone is saying API, Python. So anyone among 23 of us who have joined till date, anyone wants to throw some light on what is Python, what is API? Since I'm going to start the complete batch from very scratch, I'm not hoping any one of you is very good at anything. I'll be starting a batch from the scratch so that person who is not good enough uh, can say something. Sorry, Praveen, you are saying no voice. Am I not audible, or you are saying you are not audible to me? Yeah, Praveen, are you there? Um, you have just raised something that no voice. Am I not audible to you, or you are not audible to me? Okay, I guess Praveen, you should just restart the connection once. I guess that's something creating confusion. So yeah, let's continue on the same topic. So I was just asking you guys, what is your purpose of joining this course, API testing Python? Since I'm getting some input, some of you are saying you want to join this course to move in automation from manual. Great, it's very great thing. You guys are thinking of something very good. You have multiple job opportunities in the area in testing world that you cannot think of. and a great organization like an MNCs or something, API testing, Selenium testing, performance testing, a person who is having all these three types of skills is a great person, which is required. Trust me. Yeah. So let's come back to the topic. I was asking API, Python. Anyone wants to throw some light? What is an API? What is an what is Python? Why should we use Python? And anything else? Guys, I want the session to be interactive because that does not makes it boring, I guess. Right? So let's have a two-way communication. Okay, so Manoj, you're saying it's easy to learn. Pawan, you were asking why Python. Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Why Python? Any input from your side that would be much helpful. Um, what exactly do you guys think? What is an API? Now, just don't open your Wikipedia and answer the questions, right? So less lines of code required. Great. Another great answer. Um, yeah, and so on. We'll be coming to these topics one by one. I've created pie chart. I've created some documentations for you guys as well, just so that I can make things more easily. So Sachin, you said it's an API is reusable code. Okay, great. Okay, so we have one more input from Deep. He says API is a language to communicate between different websites. Okay, so can I no, correct it? I can say it's a language to communicate between two applications. I guess that is more sound. That sounds more right, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying you're wrong, but still. So, Pawan, you're asking your intro, please. Joined a bit late. Okay, no problem. This is Ashish this side. I work in a CMM5 organization for past 6 to 7 years. In all, I have an experience of 10 years approximately. If I talk about in all experience, I work with Selenium, I work with Python, I have worked with Java, ABM, and so many other stuff. Yeah. So, Ankit, you're asking just an interface which communicate between different servers with one application. Yeah, that is more technical, I guess, right? So, great. I think you guys know a lot about APIs. So, as a tester, why do you need API testing? A very basic, simple question. As a tester, if I am a tester in an organization, why should I test an API if I have violations on my front end? So, I hope you guys let me okay. So, there are two types of technologies I can say in a nutshell, which we say is front end, and there is something called back end, right? So let's take an example of a sign up form. In a sign up form, in front end, we have so many validations already. We have so many validations already introduced that the user cannot input incorrect information. Then why do we offer backend validations? Why as a tester you need this? So Sachin, you say I want to know the scope of web services with Python, which is whether web services with Python or Java Selenium. I'll come to this question, Sachin, in the next I guess 10 to 15 minutes. We'll come to the difference between Python and Java, and I guess that will be a more correct answer for you. So just have some patience, I guess. Yeah. Purush, you say it's basically tested when we don't have a UI available. It's not that when we do not have a UI available. In that case, only we test an API. API testing is done no just to confirm your no to save yourself from, you can say in a very basic manner, to save yourself from hacking, right? You cannot just make your data easily available to anyone. No problem. We'll come to this. So okay, so let's come back. Um, I have an application. I made a web simple presentation. So if I'm visible to everyone, mm, can I hide it? Yeah, I can. So the very first question to me is, what is a web application or web service? Since you guys have joined this course, has anyone done some homework? Sorry, I missed something. Okay, so Ratan, you have said to test things not able to test in UI testing. Okay, great. So Jayant, you say to verify or response transaction with system. So from front end, if user has made a request either to update, add the data, or to fetch something, we need to make sure that they get correct information. hence your REST APIs. Great, a round of applause. Correct. Anything more, guys? Okay, so let's try to understand the flow, I guess. Let's try to understand the flow. We have two applications, right? We connect, we transfer. All these things happen, something does not happen magically, right? Things are not transferred magically. We need something to transfer something, right? So we can say things which is required to transfer something is you can simply say we can do the same by HTTP or HTTPS, etc. So many protocols available in the market and so on. So what is a web service? Since you guys are replying me with so many great answers, I just want to know for any one of you is interested to tell me what is a web service and a web application. A very basic example, I'll explain it to you. But anyone wants to throw some light which the difference between a web service and a web application? Mm-hmm. Anyone? Okay. Let's come back to the presentation. So see, guys. So there was someone who just came to me and asked, "Hey, radio automation, can you help me to understand the difference between web application and service?" So yeah, definitely. So my answer was, in a very simple layman language, if I say, yeah. So the answer was a web application. A web application actually contains a GUI. What is a GUI, guys? Anyone? What is a GUI? Graphical user interface. I hope you have heard of it earlier. So we have an answer. Service runs in backend and carries a request. Okay. When you say web services work on the internet to communicate between two applications, correct? And web application is front end expecting user interactions. Again, a very great answer. Rather you say GUI is front end visibility user, great. So guys, in a very nutshell, I'm saying you, uh, web application is something which contains a GUI. What is a GUI? GUI stands for graphical user interface. It simply means a user is having a front end. A user is having a front end so that he can do things, right? For example, when you visit a website or you go for a sign-up form, a sign-up form is visibility. That is what a GUI is actually called. But when I'm saying web services do not provide any GUI. So how many of you have understood the meaning of this line? How many of you have clearly understood the meaning of the line that web application contains a GUI, whereas web services do not? Can anyone give me a very basic example, a daily day-to-day life example? I'm not asking for technical stuff at all. I'm just asking you a very day-to-day life example, something which you faces daily. An example? Sorry. If anyone wants to share an example, so that they can tell me an example for web application, an example for web service. IFCC ticket availability check. That is a web application, right? And what is a web service, guys? I hope you guys have done your homework. I'm just asking you in a very day-to-day life. So Sachin, you give a very classical example which is available all over the internet, which is waiter in the hotel transferring stuff between kitchen and the customer. Yeah, correct. That is what an API is. I'll come to that later. So user interface, Sachin, to correct you more, a web service contains many APIs. So we have a user interface, the query and service returns the value from database with matching query. Okay. Facebook is also a web application. When you post something in the backend, a web service is called. Okay. Payment form submit and click call a web service and third party payment system. Okay, so pretty much good examples from every one of you. So let me throw some light on one of the examples I have in my mind. It's a bank user can only use a specific ATM. So okay, Collection of APIs, nothing but web services. Yeah, you can say correct. So to just have a look on just a different example. So suppose there is an SBI user. Now SBI user requests for money to an SBI ATM. Okay, sounds good. Now the SBI ATM requests for verification of the user to the SBI database. Now he wants to verify whether the SBI user is who is inserting the card in the ATM is actually verified authenticated SBI customer or not. So the SBI DB responds with authenticated details to the ATM, and in favor, the ATM responds with money to the SBI user back. Sounds good? So we have one more example from Jayant. So Jayant, you're saying, say if you're on a web platform making a transaction of payment, okay, you interact with payment gateways, okay, where payment transfer happens at the backend without you seeing it, as it uses API at the backend, which takes your request and return you a response of success, failure, on transaction. Correct? I hope, Jayant, you are already working as an API tester in some organization, if I'm not wrong, right? Right. Means you have good knowledge. Trust me. I am, but manual testing it is. Okay, no problem. This will surely turn you into an automation tester. So, like coming back to the given example, again, I'm telling you with the same example, if there was an ICICI user, he requests for money in an ICICI ATM, the ATM then requests for verification of the user in the ICICI database. The database just simply verifies whether the given user is of ICICI or not. If it is, it responds with its authenticated details. If not, it again responds with his non-authenticated details. Then the ICICI ATM in return responds with money. A very simple basic example, right? So if you see carefully, the SBI user is actually dealing with an application, is actually dealing with a front end, right? The ATM where we go, where we visit, have a GUI available. So when a user interacts with a GUI, that is called a web application. In the very first slide, I mentioned a web application is something which contains GUI, which contains user interactions. So when a user is interacted with the GUI, that is called a web-based application. So this is a very decent example of a web-based application. Okay. Um, Great. So now let's come to the next slide. So again, in this case, a bank user is directly communicating to a GUI-based application. Hence, this is a web-based application. Now the question rises, but what in case if the ICICI user wants to withdraw money from an SBI ATM? Anyone wants to answer this question based on the previous example? What in case if the ICICI user wants to withdraw the money from an SBI ATM? So Praful, you are saying what is the difference between a web service and a microservice? We'll come to this. First of all, let's deal what is a web service. Okay. Anyone as of now, with the previous example, wants to tell me what in case if an ICICI user wants to withdraw money from an SBI ATM? Because after the previous slide, if you look carefully in the previous slide, let me go back. Okay, it's not allowing me, no issues. In the previous slide, we just saw that an SBI user is directly communicating to an SBI ATM, an ICICI user is directly communicating to an ICICI ATM. But what if things are interchanged? If an ICICI user wants to withdraw money from an SBI ATM? I hope I'm not confusing you guys. So Vivek, you are saying SBI will send authentication to ICICI via web service, correct? Let's come back. So again, nice question. Let's see what web services are. So again, coming back to the same diagram. In this case, the SBI user visits the ICICI ATM. ICICI user visits the SBI ATM. Now, the picture comes in. Now, this ATM's backend, the SBI ATM's backend, communicates to the ICICI database. Communicates to the ICICI database. In a similar fashion, the ICICI ATM communicates to the SBI database. So do you think, guys, this transaction, this direct transaction is legal, is okay? What do you guys think? Can an SBI ATM directly communicate to an ICICI database or vice versa? Okay, no, there is a service in between, correct. That's what I want to throw some light on, right? ICICI database request to SBI bank. So let's see. Correct, Ratan. So this is not allowed. An ATM cannot directly communicate to another application directly due to authentication purposes, due to security reasons. Because ICICI Bank does not allow anyone to directly hop into the database and make some changes. No. So what is then actually happening? Right. Since nowadays, when we visit an interchange ATM, we can withdraw money from any bank, right? So what exactly comes in between which allows us doing the same? So let's see more between the same. Um, any questions as of now? Okay. So let's more deep. Let's go some deep insight. So the SBI ATM actually gives a request to some publicly available ICICI services which further request to the ICICI database. Are you getting it? The SBI ATM was not allowed directly to communicate to ICICI database, but the SBI ATM is allowed to communicate to some publicly available ICICI services. In the similar fashion, the ICICI Bank ATM is also allowed to communicate to some SBI services, which in turn communicates to the SBI database. So in this app, what exactly is happening? A program or an application is communicating to another application. Let's move here again. Let me show you. An ICICI user requests for money to an SBI ATM, moves SBI ATM, then forwards the request to ICICI available APIs. It moves ahead to some DB. It responds with some response. It again responds, and the user gets the money. Okay. Any questions as of now? Okay, great. So exactly what is happening? One application, which is SBI ATM, is connecting to another application, which is the ICICI database, communicating together without a GUI. Focus on it. Communicates together without a GUI. Means they do not have any graphical user interface in between them, but they are still communicating together via some available services. Now, what these services are? These services are called web services. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone what exactly are web services with a layman example? You can go with the technicalities via some online websites. I want this session to be more knowledgeable as comparative to more no, muggable. So, question Pawan you raised, can ICICI service be a microservice? Yeah, it can be. Mm, okay, first of all, I want to ask you guys, what is a microservice? Anyone? What is a microservice? Anyone? Since you are guys are dealing with microservices, so I want input from you guys. What is a microservice? So Vivek, you're saying an API. So there are three different words, right? An API, a web service, a microservice. Microservice is a set of APIs. Then what is web service, guys? How can you unmute so that I can ask questions? Okay, I guess you are not directly allowed to mute yourself, Ikram. I need to unmute yourself. That is the structure of GoToWebinar. So, in case of you want to ask questions, let me just unmute yourself. You. Mm. Just a second, I'm finding your Ikram, sorry. Yeah, I know I can click on the, I'm just finding the name. Um, just a second, guys. Yeah. Um, sorry, I missed. API is an interface which interacts between two applications, and then we should be able to talk a service which triggered internally, which you call API service. Is not but microservice. Ashish, a microservice exposed over the web is considered as a web service, correct? So Ikram, I have unmuted you, I guess. You are. It is saying you have self-muted yourself. Um, so you can ask questions in case if you want to.
Yeah, I'll ask question when I have any doubt. Thank you. I just
Uh,
wanted to unmute me. Thank you so much.
Ikram, if you don't mind, whenever you want to ask a question, just drop me a message on this panel, and I'll unmute you at that
Okay.
point of time, just to
Oh,
avoid the interactions, right?
all right. All right. Okay.
Just drop me a
Okay.
message
Yeah.
over there. Just raise me some emoji or something. I'll unmute at that point of
Okay.
time. Okay.
All right. No
Uh,
problem. Thank you.
Thank you. And the same goes for the everybody else. In case you don't have any questions, you can just drop me a message. So yeah, where were we? API is a part of web services and microservices. Um, so yeah, guys, I guess Ashwin is correct. A microservice exposed to the web can be considered as a web service. Um, Microservices, as the name says, they are small autonomous services. Actually, they work together. Um, Actually, that's a complete different architecture. I don't want to go at that point pain because there are so many other questions coming in my mind. I can explain, and that can take another 30 minutes. As of now, let's focus on what is web service, what is an API. I'll come to that point also, I guess, if you guys don't mind. Okay. So should we continue? Okay. So let me come back. Let me go to the here. Okay. If you guys still have confusions, I'm going ahead. Okay. I can explain you. I can give you a very quick example for web service and microservice. Just take an example of an online shopping website. Okay. Now, when you're going to an online shopping website, there are multiple different sections available, right? There is an account section, there's a catalog section, there's a customer service section, and so many other different types of sections. So there might be a web service. There might be a web service which directly communicates to the database for all the queries. For all the queries. But on the other hand, there can be there can be sorry there can be multiple small web services which are allowed to communicate to a specific part of database. To be more specific, suppose an accounts person is only allowed to access the accounts database. On the similar hand, a customer person is only allowed to the information database. Now, so the person this web service which is dealing which is connecting the customer and the information together. It's a very small web service which can be called as a microservice. Similarly, account is connecting to the account database can be called in microservice. But when there are multiple applications who say, I don't want these microservices differently. I want only a single web service which deals with everything. So in that case, we say it's a web service. That is the only example the way we say it. Is this example clear to you? A very simple example. So microservices are nothing but small web services which are given some limited functionalities or something. So is it clear to all of you? Or should I throw some more light? Should I make some diagrams for that? Whatever you guys say. Or should we go ahead? Move ahead. Any responses and inputs, guys? I'm good. Wish for me, yes. Praful, I guess you raised the question. So is it something clear to you? You raised the question earlier that you're asking me what is the difference between microservice and web service. Clear now. Great. So guys, this is something, okay. Now we came to know what is a web service. Sorry. We came to know what is a microservice. We came to know what is a web application. But what is an API? What is an API? Do not say it's application programming interface. What is an API? What is the difference between API and web service? If anyone wants to throw some light on these two questions. So basically, a collection of microservices which form web service. Correct, Ratan? You're on the great route. So Pawan, yep, these are independent services which independent services. Still the application can if one of the microservices is down. Correct. You are going a bit deeper, Pawan, but correct. This is a very good technical answer you can give to someone. So Ashwin, you're saying a web service has independent API calls. Okay, so let me give a statement. All web services are APIs, but all APIs are not web service. Focus on this line, guys. So Ashwin, you're saying a web service has independent API calls. So okay. So one more collection of class and methods is an API. Sorry, I cannot pronounce the name. Okay, can I call you Senti? Okay. So Senti, you can see collection of class and methods. Yeah, that is more a technical answer, but I'll not say it's complete answer. So Porush, you say it's a package in bracket containing web services, which an application shares publicly for other applications to communicate. Okay, so API allows one system to communicate with another. Okay, but guys, what is the difference between a web service and an API? I guess web service is also performing all these mentioned answers. A web service is also allowed to communicate with one another. It is allowed, it is publicly available for other applications to communicate. Then why do we use the term API? Why do we not use the term web service? Very rarely. So since I'm mentioning this line that all the web services are APIs, but all the APIs are not web service. So any more inputs? Anyone who have not answered anything yet and wants to say something? Web service works on client server module. I guess it's limited in way it communicates. Yeah, Ratan, you are way near to the answer, I guess. Web service is limited in the way it communicates. So basically, very few common web services available to us are SOAP and REST. I hope these two terms are might be nightmares for you at some point of time in your BTech, but these are two different types of web services which are commonly available to the user. So I'm giving you a hint. Anything else if anyone wants to say? See, since I'm saying web services are having some limitations. Limitation in the sort of it is only allowed to communicate over a same network. Over a same network. A web service cannot communicate between two different available networks. It is only allowed to communicate over the same network. Secondly, it only supports HTTP but not HTTPS. That is again a very great disadvantage that web service gave to us, due to which API came into existence. And the next important thing that it supports only XML based inputs. That is why we have something called SOAP. Okay. Now there are multiple now problems web services came with, and it was not at all lightweighted. Not at all lightweighted. So web services were having many disadvantages, due to which API came into existence. So yeah, Pawan, you're saying API web service always needs a network, but API does not require that. Sort of yes. Pavrish, you are saying so in your earlier example of bank ATM, it was an API rather than web service because it has HTTPS in the picture. Did I use HTTPS? Um, okay, but that was an example of a web service. It was not an example of an API because I have used HTTP only. But I've not mentioned anywhere which type of protocol am I using. Okay, and web service also supports remote proceed calls. Yeah, sort of. You can say that. So I can say an API again do the same thing. It is something which is used to communicate between two different networks existing differently, and the main difference is only same thing that it allows uh, it supports both XML based inputs as well as JSON based inputs. Anyone knows what is JSON? Anyone who knows what is JSON? Heard of it earlier? Okay, what's the full form for JSON? JavaScript notation. Okay. Salesforce language. Um, that is I am not sure for, but JSON is a very simple example for APIs. Key value pairs. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Key value pairs. JavaScript object notation. Correct. Correct. Yeah. So JSON is actually a key value pair in which we transfer information in the form of a dictionary. When we talk about Python, we'll come to this. So yeah, nowadays everything is transferred in the form of JSON only. No one transfers XML because XML is a very highly weighted document which gets transferred from one application to another, which takes a lot of time. Or on the different side, we have JSON, which takes very less time. So API have multiple different differences with web service. You guys can just go to internet and there's a bundle full of differences. You can go through them and come back tomorrow, I guess, and you can tell me some more differences, I guess. And as of now, I guess a very basic example of what is an API. is clear to everyone? If not, you guys can raise a question, or we should move ahead. Tell me. As of now in this session, everyone is on the same page that an API is a way of communication between two different applications where a GUI is not exactly required, which transfers your data using a JSON. And yeah, it's a lightweighted application. It supports HTTPS and all these stuff. Correct? Correct, everyone. Should we move ahead to the next topic? And you can give me some more examples whenever needed. I want to ask a query, Tal. If you're working with a REST web service, if you choose in your tool application JSON as content type, it accepts us. Okay. Now, if REST is a web service, so how is that made possible? Joint. Okay. I think you are. I made. It's not. I'm not saying that. What exactly it is? That web services does not supports your REST-based inputs. You are saying that your sorry, I missed a question. So, Jayanth, you are saying, Pawan, the question exactly is, since I'm saying REST is a type of a web service, and I'm also saying web service accepts XML-based inputs, but in case of REST, we sometimes give application JSON as a content type. We give JSON as an input to the API, but still it accepts that. Then how is REST a web service? That is what exactly Jayant is asking for, right? So, Jayant, I'm not saying that web service does not exactly supports your what do we call that JSON, but I'm saying before the invention of APIs, web services were majorly responsible for the content of XML. That is why SOAP was earlier developed as compared to REST. REST came into existence, I guess few years back. But the very first thing that was created was SOAP-based web services. So it is not at all that web service does not accept JSON types of data. So saying that statement would be completely incorrect. I was just trying to give you an example with the same thing that you guys can tell. Okay, this is some basic picture. I'll come to details of this topic once we start the lectures. So I was just trying to cover it up with a very basic and a decent layman language example, because going to technicalities would make this lesson a much more lengthier. That's why. So is it clear to you, Jayant? Yeah. So anyone else wants to raise a question or something, or we can move ahead? What is the question? Was the question clear to you? That what was Jayant asking? Okay. So guys, anyone wants to raise a question, or should we move ahead to the next topic? Just say. As of now, we have a very basic understanding what is an API. We have a very basic understanding of what is a web service, and yeah, we can go much deeper inside what difference between SOAP and REST and all these stuff. But as of now, I don't want to go deep inside it. Since there is a demo session, you guys should know more things, and we'll have a different session on this once we enroll in the subject. So yeah, let's come back. So now the question was, someone in the chat earlier asked, why Python, not Java? Okay, right? Someone in the queries asked me, why Python, not Java? Anyone? Why we should use Python, we should not use Java? However, Java is used widely in the nation, but Python is also a very, very competitive language. Sorry. So Deep, you're saying why Python? Because statically types language, compact code, less lines compared to Java, no curly braces, so chances of syntactical error will be less. Indentation makes the code more readable. Correct. Porush, you're saying anyone who does not know Python will be able to do automation? Definitely. Actually, this is a very great, normal answer which is being asked to me in the other batches as well. So yeah, who does not know even programming is can very simply know learn automation using the Python. Python is a very easy language. On the same time, it is a very complicated language when it comes in its complexities. So both of the things are on its different platforms. So Janet, you're saying Python is easy to learn based on its syntax, okay? Python is lightweight compared to Java in processing terms, okay? More flexibility with extensive library support, I feel, with Python. Okay. So Cynthia, you are saying Python is more flexible and can save you time and space when running scripts. Okay, anyone who have joined us in 29 of attendees, anyone who is new to Python over here, who does not know anything about Python has to learn from the very scratch. Anyone can raise something, okay? So when you are saying it's not about the language, it depends on the requirement, what you want to achieve in the given amount of time to build the framework from scratch. Okay. So yeah, we have multiple inputs from Ikram, from Purush, from Manoj, Ratan, Ashwin, interpreter language. Okay, I used to work. That is why I'm familiar with. I have been out of touch for a week now. No problem, guys. No problem. So let's come to the differences one by one, and let me show you the practicality also. So let's say the points. Where's the pointer begin? So I'm opening up um, compiler. You can take any online Python compiler. You can just simply open it. I'm just trying to give you an example, okay? Sorry, I'm also trying to open online Java compiler just to make you guys. I'm sorry, I got a call. Just a second, guys. Sorry, that was an important call. So yeah. So guys, okay. So let's come next. The first point that I would like to mention is Python. Sorry, is a general purpose language. Uh, Guys, those who are new to Python, have you guys aware of any another language? I mean, are you guys interactable in Java or any another coding language? Or this is going to be the very first one? Okay, Chrome, you're compatible with Java. You have learned some basics. Okay, Ratan, you are Java, Polish Java. Okay, great. So that can make things more interesting. Okay. Um, if I'm not incorrect, Vivek, you was also available in the same, right? Sorry to ask, but because I got the same name, Vivek as So yeah, Python is a general purpose language. What does the term, guys, general purpose language means in a day-to-day language? What does the term general purpose language means in when I'm saying Python is a general purpose language? Pawan, you are saying, are we going to start Python from scratch? Yeah, definitely. Once the session starts, we are going to start Python from scratch. But those who are just very new in Python, you guys are going to love it. Trust me. So, guys, when I'm saying Python is a general purpose language, what does that mean? It's a very basic English term that is being used. So, you're saying could be used as development, could be used in testing. So, to counter you, Vikram, can't I use Java for development? Can't I use Java for testing? I can do that, right? So Manoj, you are saying Python interpret the code at the same time. Okay, we'll come to that difference later. Okay, no problem. Python is a general purpose language. So here, a very basic example is given to me of Java, which says public static void means string arguments. System out println hello. So whenever I run this code, if I try to run this, execute this program, it just simply prints me hello world. Great. On the same side, in Python, we just write a simple liner, print hello world. And if I try to execute it, it simply runs me hello world. Great. Now, if I say I want to make a function. Sorry. I'm making a function A. Let's say I'm making a function A which is only responsible to print um, hey, I'm an A, and I'm executing it. Sorry. Now if I execute it up, so it says hello world, hey, I am an A. So what exactly am I doing here? This is you can say a general print statement. On the same time, this is a function. Okay, but when I come to Java, I have a class, I have a void main. Now if I come down, I'm making a function int a. Sorry. Yeah, I'm making a function int a. I'm writing here the same thing. Hello, I am a. And if I try to call a correctly and I execute this program, it now returns me with an error, compilation error. Okay, no problem. So what do you guys learned from this example? I want to say in Python, just try to recall these things. In Python, I am allowed in a single page, in a single module, you can write some general print statements. You can write some general functions. You can also declare some classes. Print I am in class. Just a second. Now if I say be equal to first class. Yeah. Now if I execute it, now you can see it says hello world, hey I am an A, hey I am in class. Now sorry. Sorry guys. What exactly I want to make you clear with this thing, that Python is called a general purpose language because in a single module you are allowed to declare a class. In a single module you are allowed to declare a function. In a single module you are allowed to write your general statements. But when I compare it to Java, I am not allowed to do anything outside my main class. I'm not allowed to do anything outside my object-oriented concepts. So that is why I am saying Python is a general purpose language. Is this is this pointer clear to everybody? Why am I saying Python is a general purpose language? Because you are allowed to do anything in a single module. You're not constrained, you're not limited. But in Java, you are limited and you have to do everything inside the scope of a class only. Clear? Great. So guys, the next point that comes, Python is an interpretive language. What is an interpretive language, anyone? What is an interpreting language? How many types of languages are available if I talk about this? We have a compiled type of language and we have an interpreted type of language. Can anyone just declare me some differences between both of them? What is the difference between the interpreter and the compiler? So Vivek, you say line by line execution, correct? And what in case of a compiler? Anyone? What in case of a compiler? It executes the whole code, then run, then report. Okay. So what exactly is an interpreter language? I'm sorry guys, you might be saying making some mistakes. So guys, an interpreter stops the user whenever an error is raised, whereas a compiler is responsible to compile the code and then report errors. Okay, as an example, let's come back here. We have done all these things. Now, after calling the function, I'm saying d equals to 100 divided by a string a, b, c, d, suppose. Now, we all know an error is going to be reported, but on the same time, if I'm writing, giving here the same error, after print hello world, I'm writing 100 divided by a, b, c, d. Okay. Now there are two same things being done in two different coding languages. So let's see the difference. If I try to execute this Python code, it says, hello world, hey, I am an A, then it raises me an error, unsupported operand types and all these things. But if you guys notice properly, hello world is the first statement which was without any error, so it executed the statement, then it executed the next bunch of statements which all are without errors, and all of these are generating proper outputs. But the point where an error encountered, the execution stopped and raised an error that, bro, just resolve this error as soon as possible, and then we are going to move ahead. But in case if you are a Java user and if you try to run this code, it simply gives you a direct error which says a compilation failed due to following errors. It means, first of all, you have to resolve this error. After that, I'll be executing the complete program. So that is the difference between interpreting languages and a compiling languages. Is it clear to everybody? Is it clear to everybody? What is an interpreting language and what is a compile type language? Great. Guys, the session is interactive, right? I hope you guys are not getting bored. Correct. So above my answer was correct. Yes, Ratan, the answer that you raised, that was correct. So Manoj, you're saying me, can you explain me again? Definitely. Here I'm saying, Manoj, that Python is an interpreting language. What does the term interpreting language means? It means it will raise you an error wherever available, but before the error, since here I know my error will be raised in line number 16, but till line number 15, all my code is working correct. So it will execute all the lines of statements till line 15. Then it will raise me an error and then it will stop. So it was printing me hello world, hey, I am an A, and it stopped. And it says just resolve the error at this point of line. But when I came to Java, Java was also having the same error at line number 13. But Java first of all, compiled the complete program, and it says I'm not going to generate any output, I'm not going to execute any line unless or until you are going to resolve these errors. So that is the difference between a compiler and an interpreter. Is it clear, Manoj? Okay, great. By this point, it is clear that Python is not purely object-oriented programming, right? Because it's a general purpose on the same time, so it supports everything. It supports your defining functions, it supports general statements in a single module, it supports class as well. That is why I'm saying it's not purely object oriented based. Fourth pointer that comes into the picture is Python is expressive. Yeah, as you guys can easily see, this code is way too readable as compared to this lines of code, right? That is why we say Python is more expressive as compared to any another language, right? Then Python is cross-platform. Definitely, that simply means it is available for Windows, it is available for Linux, it is available for Mac. It is available for all these different systems and can be executed accordingly. And we have so many other pointers that why should we use Python as compared to Java. Okay, is it clear till here to everyone? Any questions still here, anyone? We have 28 attendees with us, I guess. Yeah, we have 27 attendees with us. Anyone wants to raise something? Okay, great. So guys, let's come to the next thing. How can we install Java, Python and all these stuff? So I believe you guys are a generation of technology. So still, just simply go to the website, their official website. You can simply write download Python and you can just simply visit their official website. Yeah, and since we have the latest version available with us is 3.8.2, you can download it from here and install it. Okay, how to install it? I have some screenshots of the same as well. Yeah, let's come to the slide first of all. Since we discussed, Python has the following advantages. First, it is a general purpose. Yeah, it is a dynamic language. I missed one point, guys. It's a dynamic language. What does the term dynamic language mean? It's a very important type stuff. Python is dynamic. What does the term dynamic means? Anyone? It is not strongly typed, correct. Any example, Jayant, if you want to say? Correct, Ankit. No need to define data types. If you guys see carefully, I've closed that earlier. But when you are dealing with Python, you do not have to tell what type of data it is. That is why we call Python is dynamically available. Okay, is this point clear to you all? That Python is dynamically available. It's a dynamic language. Correct. Can you explain dynamic again, please? Okay, no problem. Let's go back to the online compiler available with us. Let's simply go to the online available compiler. So yeah, here. So now if I want to declare an integer type of data, I can simply say a equal to 10. And I can say print a. I do not need to say it's an integer a. No. Python says no need to define the type of the variable it is. It will be dynamically allocating the variable at runtime. Now at the same time, if I say b is equal to hey, I am Ashish. So here there is no requirement to declare that b is of type string. I can simply say print b. And if you want the type also, we can say print the type of a. Print type of b. Now if I run this, you can see it says hello world. Next it says a is of type integer. Since I have not mentioned it anywhere inside my code, but it automatically says a is of type of integer, and it says b is of type string. So that is a very great advantage that Python offers to us. It is not important to know the type of the data that you are going to receive from runtime. Okay, so is this clear, Purush, this time? Okay, great. So coming back to the presentation. So it's an object oriented, it's an open source. Open source means it is freely available, it is cross-platform, it is expressive, it is multi-purpose. Okay, let's come to the next thing, how to download Python. So you can simply just go to the official website, download the available version, latest available version. Once it is downloaded, simply open it, and there is a button at the end. It says add Python 3.7 to the path. Whatever the available version is displayed here. Just simply check on this checkbox, because it is going to add this Python 3. Python variable inside your environment variables automatically. No need to go to the advanced settings in your computer and add it manually. This will automatically add Python inside your environment variable. So just keep a note of it. Whenever you're going to install Python, just simply click on the checkbox and add Python to the path. Okay, click on install now. It will simply install your stuff. So once installed, it says that it was completed. Now, how to verify whether Python was successfully installed in the system? Go to command prompt, simply write Python, and it should open the interpreter for you, where you can perform your stuff. Okay, is it clear how to download and install Python, everyone? Okay, great. So let's move ahead. Now we have Python with us. Have you heard the term IDE? Have you heard the term IDE? Integrated Development Environment. What is an IDE? What is an IDE, guys? Anyone? Develop and debug. Editor, correct. A platform to write code, correct. So that is it all about, integrated development environment. So the IDE that we are going to use for this is called PyCharm. It is available in the professional version. It is available in as well as community version. So we are going to use the community version, which is available free of cost on the official website. Simply go here, download PyCharm. It's going to open its official website, which is jetbrains.com. Once you land here, simply click on download, and once you click on download button, it will download it up, open it up, click on next. Just simply enter your information, where exactly you want to store the project. Click on next. Now there will be three different options available. If you want to create a desktop shortcut, just simply click one of them. If your desktop supports 32-bit, so just click on 32-bit. If it supports 64-bit, click on 64-bit and click on next button. Do nothing, simply click on install. It will successfully install in your system, and once it is installed, click on run PyCharm Community Edition and finish. So that is how you can simply install the IDE in your own systems. Sounds great, right? Is it clear? I guess these two things can be done by each one of you by tomorrow. So we are going to continue on Python and PyCharm on tomorrow. As of now, let's come to the next topic. So once both of these things are available in your everybody laptop, so we can be more interactive. We can do the same thing, and we can do more, and we can get some more inputs from each other, right? So as a homework to everyone available here, just simply install Python and PyCharm in your own laptops and come and let's see what comes next. Okay. Is it clear till here to everybody? And we should shall we move on? Yeah, Pawan, ask me the question. Should I unmute you, Pawan, in case if you want to ask something, in case if you want to speak something, or you are going to type it up? What framework are we going to use in the course? Okay, so let me just show you guys a very basic framework, a course structure for everybody, so that you guys can be more confident. So we're going to start up with setup and installation variables. This is all your complete Python being covered. We're going to discuss program controls. We are going to discuss OOPS concepts. We're going to discuss data types, which is list, tuples, which is set. We are going to discuss dictionary. We are going to discuss Python's exception handling, how to read and write things in Excel, web services. The most interesting part of this course is this: creating your own APIs using Python Django. Anyone heard of the term Django before? Anyone who have heard of the term Django? What is Django? Pawan, Aniket? Yeah, it's a Python framework. Yes, it is related to web development like a framework, correct. So guys, we are going to create our own APIs. That is something which makes this course more exclusive, because normally publicly available APIs are way too no, not so great that we can handle them. But if you guys can create your own APIs, which is developing your own APIs, you can make as much APIs as much you want for practice. Next important thing that we are going to cover is the curl command of Linux. Since nowadays in multiple organizations, they use Linux. In my own organization, we use Linux for complete development and testing. We do not use Windows anymore. So in Linux, when you're dealing with Linux as a operating system, there's a command called curl available. So we are going to discuss about this curl command also, which is very important. How can we use this curl command? What are the important uses? How sorry, and so on. We're going to discuss about Postman. Postman is another important testing API testing tool, which is very important. We are going to create our own test cases using JavaScript. We are going to use Newman to automatically execute a test case automatically. Another important exclusive thing. Then we are going to discuss about JSON, REST API basics. What is JSON? How to use JSON, different functions available with JSON, and so on. Some basic API, REST APIs basics. We are going to discuss the request module, which contains all your API requests. Very important, PyTest, since we have something called TestNG with us in Java Selenium. Here we have a testing framework called PyTest. This is a great framework, guys. Trust me. This gives you so much of flexibility compared to TestNG or any other testing framework, that when it will be coming to existence, you guys gonna love this. You can create so many things. You can create. You guys should just after the end of the session, just have a comparison between PyTest and TestNG and another testing framework. You guys are automatically going to get it. Next is we are going to set up a DB. We are going to discuss logging, reporting. Reporting, we are going to discuss about Allure reporting. We are going to discuss about data-driven framework. And also one thing which is not added over here was discussion regarding a robot framework. So yeah, that is the complete course structure that we are going to use. So development framework, cool, loved it. Pawan, so are you already using which feature did you love about the course? And are we using request library to make HTTP calls? Yeah, we are going to use the HTTP request module. What's the duration of the course? The course will be ending within 2 months. Yeah, 2 to 2.5 months. The complete course will be ending in this duration itself. We are going to discuss about the robot frameworks as well. So that is also which is extensively used nowadays in the market. How can we deal with robot framework? I'm going to give you a demo of all these things tomorrow, because you guys should have at least PyCharm installed in your systems. I'll show you. So it's all on the weekends at the same time only, correct, Purush? It's going to be weekend classes, Saturdays and Sundays, starting next Saturday on 9 to 11, all weekends. Is this enough for API testing as competitive in current market? Ratan, I would say that is more than enough. As an API tester with an experience level of 6 to 7 years, if you go, or with an experience of 5 years also, if you go in the market, normally you guys should be aware of all these things. But when I take interviews of a 6 to 7 years guy, he is not so much confident about the curl command. He's not so confident about the Django basic frameworks. So that was the only reason when I was designing this course, I added all this stuff, that you guys should gain enough confidence that you can face. If you guys have 5 years of experience or 2 years of experience, you can directly compete a 5, 7, or 8 years of experience guy in the market. Trust me. So, Sachin, you're saying I have very basic knowledge about the programming. Will it be helpful for me to learn Python and web services? Trust me, Sachin, if in case you want to, I'm not just saying this for the promotional basis, I'm just saying it as an experienced person, as an experienced manager in the industry. I'll say, in case if you want to increase yourself, in case if you want to grow in the market, you should definitely focus on any type of automation, be it any type of automation. Since you are new to programming, I would suggest you to consider Python programming, because this is way too easy. As an example, I just gave you an example. You can just write a single print statement to print things up. We do not need to be hassled enough regarding data types of all these things. So yeah, that is a very easy language when I'm teaching it to you guys. Trust me. Porush, you are saying after this course, would I be able to automate Salesforce applications APIs as well? I believe yes. I was having a project in Salesforce in my last organization. So we actually did a complete Salesforce API end-to-end scenario testing. So yes, you can definitely automate a Salesforce application API as well. That is no more different than the regular API. Salesforce is just no top-up types of things in the application, which gives it more durability, flexibility, and so stuff. So Mohammed Ikram, you're saying I'm into manual testing, no problem. Trust me, you can simply, uh, move towards automation testing and using Python. Um, Ratan, you're saying thanks. Okay, thanks. Manoj, you're saying Python Selenium automation framework. Uh, or Python API testing. Which one good to go? Bro, see Manoj, requirements for both of these are available in the market. Python Selenium automation as well, Python API testing as well. Being a tester, if you know both of them, that's a win-on-win situation for you. But in case if you want to learn one of them, it's completely your choice. It's completely your area of interest, which you want to go for. Because Python Selenium is also a great thing to learn. Python API testing is also a great thing to learn. So it's completely your choice. But if you go for both of them, it's a win-on-win situation for you. So Ankit, you're saying I have a basic knowledge of Python and also I have knowledge of JMeter. But API testing in Python or JMeter is same or different? Ankit, since you have knowledge of JMeter, that is a great situation for you. So API testing in Python is completely programmatical based of testing. But when it comes to JMeter, you simply record your sessions and execute your correlations and all this stuffs on the machine. But when it assertions and this stuff, but when it comes to Python, it gives it two new means when I'm talking about this specific course, Ankit, we're going to give you two different advances, which is first of all, you're going to learn about PyTest, which is a testing framework. Second, you're going to learn about Python. Third, you're going to learn about Postman. So all these stuff will be great for you for your career. Akram, you're asking me, will I be able to do it? I have already passed, I guess, 5 to 6 batches earlier. So yeah, there were many students who were new to it and are in very good or great organizations as of now, doing great. So that is not at all a problem. You can definitely do it. So Purus, you're asking me, do we need to know manual API testing before doing API automation? See, Purus, I'll say manual API testing is important. Manual API testing, teach you why using API, Postman, all these things. But I'll say not only manual API testing. As a tester, you should be the very basic step of a tester is manual testing. Whenever you are given a scenario to test, the first thing that comes into the mind is manual testing. That you should be able to at least give 50 to 60 scenarios of that given application. If you have these end-to-end scenarios in your mind or somewhere noted, only after that you can automate them, right? Unless or until you are unknown about the end-to-end scenarios, end-to-end opportunities available in the application, you cannot automate them. So before automating any stuff, manual testing is important. So Ankit, you are saying though Python, can I use Postman tool also? Ankit, Postman tool is completely different thing, and Python is a language. Postman is a tool, so these two things are different. Yogesh, you're asking how's the test management opportunities here, and I have 15 plus experience and working as a test manager in manual. I'm not able to get your question, Yogesh. Can you be more specific? How's the test management opportunities here? Oh, you're asking about the test management opportunities. So, as I mentioned, the best available test management opportunities gives PyTest. PyTest is a great helping framework. Once this demo session ends, just go to the website, just go to any website and have a look on PyTest. We'll learn about PyTest. PyTest gives you so much flexibility that in a single command, you can make your own scenarios, you can make your own markers, you can customize your test cases as you want to, trust me. So that is the best test management opportunity in my career I have seen when compared to TestNG, because TestNG is a way to hassle uh, environment when you are going to learn PyTest. So PyTest gives you so many opportunities in the market. Parivesh, you're asking how to install MySQL with Python. I guess that will be teached in the sessions ongoing. Again, Pawan, anything related to CI/CD and Dockerization of test cases? Anything related to CI/CD, I can say I can add something related to Jenkins. Jenkins can be a good tool for this, but Dockerization, I don't think is a part of this as of now. But yeah, Jenkins can be a part of it. Um, you are saying, Yukesh, I'm asking in terms of designation with exposure of this learning. In terms of designation with exposure, definitely to learn some new things is never a bad thing for you or your employees. In case if you motivate yourself to learn some new things, you can implement that stuff inside your project. Sooner or later, that will be going to help you itself. So once you are able to learn new things, you are going to execute that in your real-time projects. You're going to have to learn new things. Definitely, there's going to be much exposure for your designation as well in that case. So Anudeep, you're asking, can you provide all interview questions and some sample resumes, experience, surveys? Not now, but yeah, at the end of the session, I guess. When we're going to end the complete Python end-to-end API testing batch, after that, I always provide some interview questions. Praful, you say yes, please add Jenkins. Okay, I'll add Jenkins. Manish, you're asking what is the course fees. You can connect to Rahul regarding the same. I am not the right person to ask this. Yogesh, okay, thanks. Okay, so in case the questions ended, can we can I throw some light in Postman for you guys, so that in this demo session you guys now see what Postman is all about, so that in the tomorrow's demo session we can concentrate on Python more. Okay, and one more important thing, I want Python and PyCharm to be installed on everybody's laptop by tomorrow, so that whatever I'm doing here, you guys can replicate similar in your laptop, so that we can be on the same page. Okay. Um, Existing lifetime members can join this. I believe you can ask Rahul for the same. Yogesh, I'm not the correct person again. Yeah. Okay, right. So guys, let me give you an introduction regarding Postman. What is Postman and all about? So Postman is again an API testing tool. You can simply download Postman from the official website. So just simply go here, write download Postman. Go to the official websites, and here you're going to see download button. Once downloaded, install it simply with very basic installation steps. Okay, there's a question. It's online course or offline also? It's a completely online based course, Manoj. That is because we have students from US as well who are going to join us very soon. So in that case, it's going to be a completely online course from 9 to 11 on weekends. Okay. Okay, let's come here. Once Postman is installed, you're going to see some icon like this, which is called Postman. You can just simply double click on it and open it up. So, okay. It's opening it up. Let me show you the basic GUI of the tool, and let's try to hit an API also. So once it gets opened, so yeah, this is a very basic GUI of the given tool. As of now, I have some APIs. Let me just simply close them up. Don't save. Yeah. So here, this is the basic GUI. You can simply create a new request, which is your API request, connection, environment, monitor, mock server, API documentation, API. We'll come to this later. As of now, let's try to hit an API. So just click on the plus icon. A normal API have multiple types of API, meaning types of requests. So we have something called get, we have something called post, put, delete. So these are the options an API can be hit through. A get API is normally used to retrieve information from server. In case if I want to get some information from the server, I'm going to use the get method of the API. In case if I want to post some information on the server, I'm going to use the post method, and so on. We have so many available options that we're going to discuss about. So as of now, let's go to get API only. Now this is the section where we are going to write the API, the URL of the API. So now the question comes, from where should we bring this URL, which is a publicly available API. So that is why we have our own servers. We are going to create our own APIs. So that is something to be discussed tomorrow. As of now, let's take an example of a website called Trello. How many of you have heard about the website called Trello? This is a normal available website online. It's a completely free of cost website. So I'm giving you an example of this website. How can you use Postman to hit the APIs? So I'm going to sign up for free. Just create a Trello account. This is just for your practice, guys. So you can enter an email. You can say Ashish Garg @yahoo.com. Continue. Okay. It's a storyboard where you can create cards of collaboration. Correct. So I'm going to use this for API testing today, just to show you guys to practice. Just sign up using some basic information. Click on sign up button. It's going to ask you to now confirm it up. Okay, password is too short. Sign up. I don't know why is it opening like this. Just a second, guys. Yeah, so I have said Ashish Garg, checking box. Now it says to verify your email. I have received an email. So I'm just verifying it. And yeah, then I guess it's verified. So you guys can also create a free Trello account just to get, I'm going to show you how APIs are actually working without a GUI. That is what I'm going to demonstrate you using this example. So it is done. So you're saying write something, give a name. I'm giving the name my board. I don't want anything. Okay, let me go A. Done, done, done. Now this is the UI. This is a UI which is available, okay, in the Trello board. But what in case if I want to create another board using the API? Right now, if you see here, we have only my board available, and let's try to create our own board using the API. So Trello has developer mode also, development Trello. They have an official website for development also, which is called developers.trello.com. Again, you can click on API docs. Here we are going to get the APIs. I'm going to show you how can we get the APIs. I'm saying just wait for the session to get completed. Zomato APIs are easy. This is asking too much information in Trello. Yeah, I know, but I guess this was more easy to demonstrate UI wise. So that is why I have already created one account. I can demonstrate you with that also. But I just for the students who are new here, I am trying to show it with them. That is why I'm creating a completely new account. Okay. Okay. Cool. Great. I don't know what is it making so much long. Mobile phone. I don't know why it's not working correctly. So we are going to use the boards API. Exactly. So let's come down. You see here, I'm scrolling it up just a second. Boards. I guess these guys should go for a performance check as soon as possible. Whatever. See, in the right side also you guys can see these guys have get APIs, these guys have put APIs, these guys have post APIs, and if I scroll down you can see these guys also have delete APIs. So I'm just going to the put API. You can guys also see these are the curl request, curl command. So as of now I'm going to simply copy this portion because this is what the API is. The API is nothing but your URL. There's nothing but your URL. Now here you can give a key which is called name. I'm giving a key called my code 2. Now if I try to send it, it's going to give me an error. Let's see what does it says. It says cannot get. Okay, because we have to use post method here. Now it says invalid key. Correct. Why is it saying me invalid key? Because I'm not allowed directly to communicate with it. It's online course or offline course. I'm sorry, this is the only question. In case of projects, would we not get APIs from developers directly? Definitely you want to get the APIs directly from the developers in case of real-time projects. But here, since these APIs are not publicly available, I'm taking an example of the Trello here because Trello has made their APIs available publicly. That is why. Let's go back. Now it says invalid key because I'm not allowed to directly communicate with this board. How can this API know that it's me who is trying to create a new board? For that, we have to pass something called key and token. For that, we have to pass something called key and token. Now, from where can we get a key and token? Let me go here back. Um, Let me open developers Trello again. API key. Just simply click on this given link. Acknowledge yourself. Show the API key, and here you get it. Copy this, pass this. Next is token. Click here. Authorize itself, and you are going to get the token. So these are two important things whenever this is used for authorization purposes. Now if I click on send and it says ta-da, it gives me a beautiful output. Let me scroll down. This is the output which is saying 200 okay, which means my board is created. Now if I go back to my home page, now if I click on boards, you guys can see a new board is created with my board tool. A new board is created with my board tool. So that is exactly what API does. An API performs the same operation but does not have a GUI available. So I can do the same thing from a GUI, but I have done the same thing from a API which is way too faster as compared from a UI operation. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear to you? I guess you guys can replicate these things in your own machines once just to get handy with the tool. So I'm not able to understand why did we create a board. We are planning to test the API, but in this example we have created something. Porish, this is something I'm telling you how can we use an API, how can we give a call, how can we hit an API. In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you how can we test it up also. Okay. Yeah. So as of now, I'm just telling you, I'm giving you an example just to make your concepts more clear that an API performs the same operation a UI does, but without a GUI, and which is much more faster as compared. Okay. Now, in API testing, there is something called test. There is something called test available with us. Now, if you go here, you can write your own test cases for this API. What can be my test cases? My test cases can be, I need to verify whether the status code was 200 okay or not. I want to verify whether my result was containing, you can say was containing a string or with this details or not. Suppose I want to verify these two important things. So I can just simply go to test. I can write whatever the test cases you write here in JavaScript. So we are going to learn the very basics of JavaScript in the session just to be familiar how to write test cases. Okay. So as of now, as a quick example, you guys can see here snippets. Just go down and I'm saying I want a snippet for status code. Yeah. So here it declares me a test case. Let me help you with the test case. What is PM? PM stands for Postman. Postman test. It says there is a Postman test. Inside the bracket, the first thing which is given is a string. The first thing which is given is a string. This is the name of the function. This is the name of the test case that you are going to use. I'm saying the name of the test case is status code is 200. Comma, this is a function. I'm saying this is a function, this is a function, this is a test case with this name. Okay. I move inside the function. I am performing an operation. I'm saying whatever the response comes from this Postman request, whatever the response comes, what is the response? The response is this. This is the response. This is what we call response. Whatever the response comes from the Postman request should have a status of 200. Should have a status of 200. Now, if I try to send it, it says 200 OK. Also here it says test results. If you click here, it says pass. Status code is 200. So in this fashion, we can create as many test cases as we want, which we are actually going to create very soon in the upcoming test series. So yeah, in this fashion, we can test our API. We can write multiple test cases. Suppose if I want to confirm my body matches a string, so let's go down and I'm saying I want to confirm that this contains my response contains a string which is this. If I try to execute it now there will be two test cases executed, which says one is passed and one is failed. It says expected something but has not found, maybe some other issues. We can see this. Okay. Now if I say my code should be 400, in this case my test case will again fail because I am verifying test. I know that status code is 200, but I'm failing this test cases unknowingly. It says assertion error, expected response to have status code 400, but got 200. Okay. So in this fashion, we can write our own test cases using JavaScript inside our API to test it out. Okay, is it clear till here to everybody? Is it clear till here to everyone available? I'll be explaining the test case writing. It's a completely different module available with us. But as a very brief stuff, I have told you. You guys can practice it up at your own once. Okay. Anyone, any other questions? One more important thing that we can do using Postman is it has something called runner. It has something called runner. When you click on it, we're going to learn about this as well. This helps us in performance testing of the APIs. I'm saying, let me just first of all save my API. So just simply Control S, save this as Trello, search folder, repair, save it. Now if you go to runner, have to come here. Just go here and I want to perform an operation on Trello. Suppose I'm saying I want to make this request 10 times, and if I run API testing, you can see first of all it is executing the first one, the first API, which is failing as of now because my server is not running. So it is iterating it 10 times. After this, you can see, let me scroll down. Sorry. 0 passed, no problem. Let me do it. Let me as of now remove this. Now if I go back to my runner, I'm saying API testing, fellow 10 times, execute. So my test case is executing, but my My API is executing, but my test cases are failing. Okay, 20 failed because it says test cases are getting failed. That is what it's saying, 20 failed. It was not an issue of delay, Kapul. That was another issue. Pawan, you're saying, yep, any specific designing pattern is used when implementing the framework. Like data framework, how are we going to maintain this data? That is a request for your query parameters or both pass parameters in JSON or Excel, or we constructing via Pojo. That is all going to be covered inside the data-driven framework only. We're going to do it either using Excel, but once we're going to end up, we are going to learn about Django. So Django framework has an internal Django test database, which is a very powerful test database, which solves all these issues. It says there is no need to give any query parameters or anything. It automatically handles all this stuff. So I'll show an example for that tomorrow once covered, and you can see from that. Otherwise, we are going to cover data driven, in which we are going to use Excel for getting all these things. Manoj, you're saying Django used in development of testing also. Yes, we're going to use Django for development of testing also, and we are going to use Django for creating a test database also. Both of these things. So guys, any other questions for today's demo? Any feedbacks you guys want to share with me so that I can improve that in tomorrow's session? Or it is good to go? Anything that you guys want to share, you guys are free to share, and we can connect again tomorrow at the same time. Feedbacks are always welcome, guys. So if in case anyone wants to share something, the session was superb. Thank you, Praful. Thanks, Atan. Welcome, Purush. Tomorrow's session, we are going to cover about Python, about Django, all these things. I'm going to cover a few bit. We're going to cover a bit about REST framework. I'm going to tell you about Allure reporting in tomorrow's demo session. Manoj, you're asking Django used in both development automation testing with Python. Yes, we're going to use it in both in development as well as in automation testing. Praveen, you asked nice. Thank you. Session was very informative. Thank you. First of all, session do not associate me with sir. You can just simply say me Ashish, okay? That's a very normal session. Was informative. Thank you. And thank you. It was a nice session. So guys, prepare well today. As a homework, just simply install Python in your laptops. Install PyCharm, install Postman. Try to automate an API, a very basic API using the Trello stuff. And once you guys do this, you're going to get some confidence. Try to learn things in about all these things via internet. Okay, briefing with what will be covered during for the future sessions will be helpful. What exactly you want to ask about Ratan for future sessions? Means for the tomorrow session or once we start the Python batch? Regular classes will be taken by you or Rahul. It will be completely taken by me, Manoj, the complete course. Yeah. Any another question to anyone? You guys will be getting to a recording of the complete session. Like tomorrow's session, if you can brief like these things will be covered today, will be helpful. Yeah, Ratan, as I mentioned, tomorrow we are going to cover about Python basics. We're going to cover about Allure reporting. We're going to cover about request library. We are going to cover about PIP, Python package installer. We are going to cover regarding virtual environment, what it is all about. Yeah, that is it. What I am targeting for tomorrow's session. So you can just have a read of all this stuff. I'm going to tell you differences and uses of PyTest, some great examples of using PyTest. Yeah, so that is what is being planned for tomorrow. Tomorrow's demo session. Anything else you guys wants to share? Okay, so I believe we can end the session for today, and I'm eager to meet eager to meet all of you guys tomorrow at the same time at 9 p.m. Sharp at 9 p.m. and we'll be discussing the same tomorrow. In case if you guys are feeling anything that I should change the way I'm teaching or something, you guys can tell me so that I can improve itself. Okay, so last two to 3 minutes more for the conversation, and then I'm going to end it up. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? All the details regarding fees and everything will be told by Rahul itself. Okay, you can connect to Rahul. So, okay, guys, in case if there are no questions, anyone left with, so I can simply end the conversation. Okay. So, thank you, guys. It was a very informative session. Thank you, everybody, for the patience and love that you showed. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time, 9 p.m. sharp. Be available. Goodbye. Sayonara. Take care.